On this video, I would like to do part 2 of what we had started in, you might say, the first part, which was basically a reading of the epilogue of Hammurabi, uh, following where we had gone and picking up, I should say, picking up where we have been, where we were reading Dinat Misharim, that is, the laws, the law of Hammurabi, Shah, or the law of justice, I should say, or equity, Shah Hammurabi, which Hammurabi, Sharum, Leum, the capable king, Ukinuma, which he established. We have worked our way up in part 1, and this is a revision of what we had done before, working through it, shortening it, and making some changes. So we are now in what we might call part 2, where we are looking at the Akkadian in terms of the basic conjugations. And the verb that's often used, and I'm using, is parasu, meaning to cut. So we begin with what is called the G preterite stem, or basic stem, which, if you're looking at the Hebrew, would correspond to the cow stem in Hebrew, or the G stem. And so the G preterite is iprus, which would be he cut. Number 2, the D, there is a D stem. The D preterite stem is very much like the Hebrew PL stem, where you double the middle radical, and it shows intensification or doing something repetitiously or often. The D, an example of that would be uparis. You have your U vowel in your prefix, and parisu becoming paris, where you double the R, uparis. Then, number 3, we have what is called the sheen stem. The sheen preterite stem is very much like the hifil in Hebrew. It is a causative stem, showing causation, and will ordinarily contain a sha after the prefix. The example would be u sha pris. Again, parasu being the root, pris. So it would be u sha, a u vowel, followed by sha, the infix, and then the stem, pris, which would be he caused to cut. Then we have what is called the in stem, or the in preterite stem, is like the Hebrew nifal stem, indicating a passive meaning. An example would be iparis, and this would have been from in paris, where the in, showing that we're looking at an in stem, has assimilated by progressive assimilation into the P of paris, the first radical of the root. So in paris became iparis. Then number 5, and by the way, that is like the nifal stem in Hebrew, or the in stem in Hebrew. There's a way in the Hebrew we speak of cow, we speak of nifal and piel, using the verb pa'al, whereas some grammarians would say the G stem, like the cow. Cow meaning light. Cow, the groom stem, the ground stem. Uh, or the N stem would be the nifal, with the N added to the stem. Or the hay stem would be the hifil, excuse me. Then, number 5, we have what we call a T infix or a GT preterite stem. And this indicates a reflexive or reciprocal meaning, like iptaras, he himself cut, or he reciprocal, has cut for himself. Then we have the ton infix, which indicates an iterative meaning, like iptanaras, from paras. And notice we have that infix ton after the IP, um, iptanaras. And so that would be showing iterative kind of meaning. Then we have number 6. The two tenses in Akkadian are the preterite or past, like in iplus, he cut, and the present or future, like the Hebrew imperfect, which is ipparas, Iparras. So the verb paras then is again what we're using, and ipparas would mean in the present he is cutting or he will cut. Notice the verb paras in the infinitive means, as we've said, to cut, parasu. And so this is the model verb that often Akkadian grammars use. Then, if I could just do a brief summary of these conjugations before I get back to the text of Hammurabi, and I'm making these short videos for anyone that might want to follow. You have your G, iplus, G preterite, from the verb parasu, to cut, means he cut. And U is the vowel prefix. And then if you wanted to say he will cut, it would be ipparas. You would double the middle radical, and you have an A vowel pattern following the prefix, the I vowel. This is G present or future, which would be he will cut. Then we have the D stem by way of review. Uparis is the D preterite, which would be he cut repeatedly. And notice you have an AI vowel pattern. Uparis, AI. And then uparas would be UPARRAS. He will cut repeatedly. This is the D present or future. And one of the things that we can note, again, the doubling of the middle radical consonant is like the PL in Hebrew, or the D stem in Hebrew, like diber would be DIBBER. Then, if you want to put it in the future, it's an AA vowel pattern, like uparas, with the U and the doubling of the middle radical and the AA vowel pattern. The sheen stem is the causative. Ushaptis is the sheen preterite. He caused to cut. Notice we have the U prefix, the sha infix, and the AI thematic vowel pattern. That would be he caused to cut. If you put it into the future, instead of ushaptis, it would be ushapras with a vowel pattern. You have the sheen again, indicating causation, and your present and future then would be rendered he will cause to cut. Then we go to the N stem, which we said is like the N vowel, but in Akkadian, iparis is the N preterite. He or it was cut. And notice you have your I prefix, doubling of the first radical of the root, because the N has assimilated, causing a doubling, progressive assimilation. So the N preterite, he or it was cut, with the AI vowel pattern, ipadas, AI. And then ipadas is the AA vowel pattern with the doubling of the first consonant because of the N, can I say, causing assimilation. The original would have been impatis becoming ipatis, with the assimilation of NP becoming PP. And notice the I prefix in the third masculine singular throughout the G and the N stems, and the U prefix is seen in the third masculine singular of the D and sheen stems in both the preterite and future tenses or present tenses. The N stem, again, is like the nif vowel, yishaber, if I was using shavar in Hebrew, from yin shaber, where the N has assimilated into the sheen in Hebrew. By the N of the nif vowel assimilating into the sheen, we end up with nish becoming sh, two sheens. So I'm going to stop there. Just a brief review of the conjugation. And on the next video, I'll be picking up where we left off in the text of Hammurabi.